Hey guys, we are back again for yet another haul video. I've got a whole bunch of stuff at my feet right now. We've got stuff that I found at retail, stuff that I bought online, some vintage stuff maybe, stuff from really early 2000s, which goes back to one of my previous haul videos. And we've also got some stuff again that is not a toy, but I got it in the mail. I think it's really cool. I'm really excited for these, and they have toys made about them in some fashion. So why not? We've also got some more SUPER7 stuff. It seems like every time I do one of these, I'm getting new SUPER7 product. So we'll do the stuff that I got in a retail store. I actually found these in store. And these are some new Power of the Primes Transformers. So we have got Sludge, and we have got Snarl. So I'm finished on Dinobots now, so that means I can do all of them. I'll review these guys for sure. And then we will build, what's his name, Volcanicus is the combiner for the Dinobots. So I'm pretty excited about these. They look very G1-ish, which, as I've said, is kind of my interest level for this line. And then this other guy just kind of looks really cool in general. We've got one of the Terrorcon's Ripper Snapper. They had Moonracer as well, but I didn't really care about her, and Target was running a $10 off 50, and 3 of these was just at 50 bucks, so I was able to get them basically as cheap as possible. So we got those. We got some Funko Pops. I got the Think Geek exclusive Jareth from the Labyrinth. This guy came out a while back. I missed him completely. My wife and I are huge Labyrinth fans, so I really wanted him. We have all the others in the set. This was one that I wanted to get. I mean, it's basically just a sparkly metallic repaint, but we're big fans, so I wanted to get it, and they finally put him back up really recently, and I couldn't not get him, so we got that. And then we got the recent Funko Shop exclusive Flocked Jeffrey. You know, when the whole Toys R Us madness was going on, this guy was supposed to hit Toys R Us in store, but obviously that's not going to happen now. So this is the flocked version of Jeffrey the giraffe. And I mean, he's going for some pretty stupid prices on the aftermarket. The first one, the original, the golden ticket version, is going for some really crazy prices. So if you got those and you need a quick buck, now's the time to cash in. But we're gonna keep him. I don't have any reason to get rid of him. I don't need the money to do that. Vintage stuff. Well, let's do these other things. So these are the SUPER7 product that I got, and this is again another one of those things that I just keep getting because I'm on a kick for these. And these are WonderCon exclusives, but they did put them up for sale online because I didn't go to WonderCon. That's not something I do. It's too far away for one. But we've got some of the worst muscle, and these are the clear colorways. And I don't have any worst product at all. I don't have any of the reaction figures. I don't have any of the other muscle stuff, although I have been interested. I just haven't really bit the bullet and paid for any of that stuff yet. Mostly because, you know, it's yet another property that do I really need to get into it. But these look really cool. Muscle products are cheap, and I'm a sucker for translucent plastic. So we got this 3-pack here with characters. I have no idea who they are. And then we've got this 3-pack here with another set of characters. What's interesting about these is that these guys have actually, they have weapons floating around in these packs. This guy's got like a skull on a bone, and he's got a laser gun. We've got a snake staff. We've got a sai and another blaster. So that's kind of interesting. I'm worried I'm going to lose those, but they do look pretty cool, and I dig these packaging options that they do for muscle when they bring in different brands. And I don't know, the idea of SUPER7's own little thing does interest me. The reaction figures in particular do look pretty cool. So who knows? I'm sure we'll see those on the channel at some point. The vintage stuff that, it's not really vintage. I mean, this is legit 2000s, like exactly 2000, but this goes back to, yeah, 2000. This goes back to the previous Mcfarlane purchase that I made, and I had mentioned that in addition to, it's still here, I haven't moved it, so the Kaneda bike, the deluxe bike for Akira that I picked up a week or so ago, I had mentioned that I had those other figures, and come to find out, I had them. I don't have them anymore. No idea where they went, no idea what happened to them. Checked at home, checked at my parents' house. As far as my mom is concerned, I got rid of them at some point. So who knows? But I did manage to come across a guy who was selling them brand new in package for a very cheap price. This is less than actual original retail, and he offered to sell them to me loose so I could save on shipping, because I was going to open them anyway, and the cards are worth nothing. They're generic blister cards, so I wasn't going to keep the packaging either. So he had the 4 main characters in the line for Akira minus the regular bike. It's basically the same thing, so I don't need 2 of those. So we've got the Tetsuo figure here, and I've got him with the extra mutated arm. He does have a regular, it's the mechanical arm that he gets towards the end of the film, and then this is him, you know, right before he transforms into the big, humongous monster. But this, you know, these guys are action figures, but they don't really do a whole lot. They've got rubbery capes. They do have articulation. This moves, and the head swivels, and you know, the other arm can move, and there is a waist twist, but they don't really do anything. They're in-action figures is kind of what I call them, because they can move, but at the end of the day, when you move them, you're probably not going to be able to make them stand up anymore. And then we got the Kaneda figure. This is the one that I mentioned in the previous video. He is the end of the movie, Kaneda. The other one is kind of the beginning of the movie when he still has the bike in full working order. This is Kaneda towards the end, where he's got the laser rifle, he's got the battery pack, and you can see he's got all this stuff. So this one has a lot more going on. You know, this is kind of that thing where early 2000s, Mcfarlane was really hitting things hard, showing what they could do sculpt-wise, but again, they don't really do a whole lot. But he's got kind of a rubbery jacket, so it does move. He's got moving pouches and things like that. We've got the goggles that move around, so you can put him on his head. They're kind of goofy looking, and they don't really sit very well, I never thought. So yeah, this one's definitely one of my favorites. Just because I'm such a huge fan of the movie and because of who he is character-wise. And then we've got the clown boss. So from towards the beginning of the movie, he comes with the pipe. He comes with the big Gatling gun as well. It actually fits in his right hand, but I need to heat the hand up a bit to stretch it. I don't want to stress the plastic. It has, you know, it's almost 20 years old. It's never been moved, so I don't want to play with it. But this guy does look really cool. He comes with the base, a cutout of the street where the infamous encounter with the clowns takes place. But he's pretty cool. He's a pretty big figure too. I mean, he's like 7 inches tall, 7-8 inches. So there's a lot of plastic here. And then the last one in this line is Akira himself. So he's, you know, this is not from the movie. This is from the manga. So this is him after he comes back and he builds this throne. And you can see he just sort of sits here. He does move. He has moving legs and hips and elbows. He has a lot more joints than the other figures do, actually, but you can't really do a whole lot with him, and he just sort of sits on his throne, which has a ton of detail in it. You know, with all this like neon lighting that's piped in there, and just all of the other trash that he used to make the throne. So this was one of them. This was one of my favorites. You know, there's other stuff in this line as well. There's Armitage and Ghost in the Shell. There's a Vash the Stampede figure, things like that. So there's a whole bunch of other stuff. But that's pretty much it for the Akira line, outside of the other bike, which came on a blister card, which I always thought was kind of weird. So the last things that I've got, like I said, there was something in this that isn't a toy, and you know, if you don't care about this, you know, probably shut this video off now. But I'm really excited about these. This is probably another hole I don't need to go down. But I came across the fact that apparently in the 80s it was really big to put anime soundtracks onto vinyl in Japan. And I do the vinyl thing, buy vinyl records. I like the idea of buying records. I don't know why. For the longest time I didn't think it was for me, and then we took the plunge and we kind of like it. So I found that, again, anime soundtracks were a big thing in the 80s. On vinyl in Japan. So I came across somebody who was selling some stuff that I was particularly interested in, stuff that I am familiar with, because I was for a time extremely huge into anime. Not that I'm not now, but it basically consumed my life during my college years. I ran a anime review website called animefrontier.com. Back then I've got 2,000 to 3,000 anime DVDs in a room in the basement. You know, it was a huge thing for me. It was a big thing. It was basically, I watched anime from morning, noon to night to try to crank out the written word at that point, because YouTube wasn't really a thing at that point. So these are some things that I recently got. Some are more interesting than others, but we've got the soundtrack to Macross, and some of these are more interesting than others. Like I said, like they have these gatefolds with artwork on the inside, which I think is pretty cool. Not something that I'm particularly familiar with other records. Some of them have inserts still. One of the big things is a strip that goes along the side. This one is missing it. But yeah, this is, you know, the background music from Macross. And then we've got the big one that I've got is the Harmageddon soundtrack. So this might be slightly more obscure, but it's another one. It's got a gatefold. It's got a bunch of artwork on the inside, which is pretty sweet. I mean, this thing cost 3,800 yen when it came out. I definitely didn't pay that now, so I don't know what the aftermarket's like for anime vinyl, but I'm not sure if it's going strong or not. We got another Macross. This is, I don't know which one it is in particular. It's Macross Volume 3, and it's called Miss DJ. So I haven't listened to this one yet. I'm assuming this has something to do with Minmay. So we'll see. This one has an insert with, it's got lyrics on the inside. I mean, it's in Japanese, but you know, I'm not gonna know what that's all about. But that's kind of cool, and it's got, like I mentioned, it's just like the Harmageddon soundtrack has. It's got that strip, and this is kind of a thing that I think they do in Japan. It's kind of like an authenticity thing. I think it's called an OBI strip or something, is what I keep seeing people reference it as. And then the last one that's vintage, at least, I got is Round Vernie and Vifam. This one's it's a mech anime, and it's got this booklet that came with it, which has all sorts of stuff on the inside, a bunch of shots from the animation, as well as this wall of text that I don't read. It's also got the vintage mail away card, which is pretty cool to see. And then, you know, there's the cover itself, as well as the back with a small track listing. There's not a whole lot on this one. So, you know, I got those four, and I don't know, something about it is really cool. Like, when it comes to vinyl, I really do a lot of soundtrack stuff. That's kind of where my main interests lie for the most part. And then the last one, this is one that I was going to show previously, and I forgot about it, despite the fact that I was incredibly excited to get it, is the Transformers soundtrack. So this is the soundtrack to the show. I've also got the soundtrack to the movie, the 80s movie. And this has like all the background music. It's got stuff that was never used in the show. So there's stuff in here that I don't recognize at all. But you can see it's got that G1 style artwork in there, like box art style artwork. And then the cool thing about this one, which, you know, is kind of more of a more recent thing really, is the vinyl itself is actually, you know, colored. It's split. This is the Optimus Prime variant. So these were sold by Enjoy the Ride Records, and it's officially licensed by Hasbro, which is kind of the weird thing about it. There was an Optimus variant, and then there was a Megatron variant, which is gray with purple. They were limited to 500, and they sold out in about 3 minutes. And there was a 1,000 limited piece Bumblebee that was exclusive to Think Geek, which didn't sell out quite as fast, but I'm pretty sure it's long gone already as well. And they've gotten so much demand that they're going to make more. I kind of regret not getting the Megatron one at this point. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. You know, sorry if I bored you with this stuff, but this is, I don't know, it's just something cool that I figured I'd talk about. I'm not a huge vinyl nerd. I don't really get into it, you know, so I don't exactly know what I'm talking about most of the time, but I do know what interests me, and that's kind of it right now. So yeah, we got more Muscle. We've got more. I'm going to do a video on those. We've got the more Akira stuff. I'm probably going to do a whole video on the whole set, a vintage review, although I don't know if that counts, like I said last time. And then we'll do reviews for the Transformers as well. I'll probably start with Ripper Snapper, and then do the Dinobots together, and then combine them all and see what that big mess looks like. So yeah, let me know what you guys have gotten recently. What do you think of some of this stuff? Are you interested in this stuff? You know, just let me know. I know it's definitely not for everybody. Didn't think it was for me, but apparently it is. So that's going to do it for this haul video, and I will catch you later.